Hey, listener. We hope you've enjoyed Season 5 of RecLess as much as we have. We are wrapping up the rest of this season and putting together new episodes for Season 6. But as we wait, we are going to highlight some new episodes from a spin-off podcast, This Parks and Rec Life. As much as we believe in professional development of ourselves as Parks and Rec professionals, we also know that we couldn't do this without a supportive home life. We hope that you enjoy these conversations and that they spark meaningful conversations for you. These episodes will be released in our feed currently, but in the future will be released in their own podcast channel and on YouTube. We hope you enjoy them. Now on with the show.
My love is a place you can always call home.
Welcome, everybody, to this episode of This Parks and Rec Life. This is a podcast that explores the impact of a Parks and Rec career on relationships and family. And today I am joined by Josh Keller, my co-host for the day. Josh,
how's it going?
How are you? I'm great. Thanks. It's so good to see you. And we are also joined by Brandon and Alexa, or Lex Washington. And Brandon is the Recreation Program Superintendent of Casa Grande, Arizona. Did I say that correctly?
Yep, Casa Grande. It's a debate internally, but it works either way.
Fantastic. Well, we're thrilled to have you guys here today. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Happy to be here.
Yeah, excited for this conversation.
Yeah, definitely. This conversation came about, and but by the time that this releases, everybody will have heard several different conversations from different couples. And this conversation came about from a conversation that Josh and I were both part of a while ago, where we were discussing just what it's like to be the spouse of a Parks and Rec professional, and how people think that it's going to be really fun. It's going to be this great, your spouse has the best job in the whole entire world. And then all of a sudden, sometimes there can be an underside to that, an ugly little belly to that you don't always see, or things are harder than you thought they were going to be. So we've really, really enjoyed having these conversations with people. And we're really excited that you guys are here to join us today too. So thank you. Josh, do you want to kick it off?
If you guys could just kind of tell us how you met, and start from the beginning.
We met playing kickball in an adult kickball league.
Nice.
And
it doesn't start there. So I came from Florida. I moved out here in 2020. I was driving for Uber, and I picked up this guy on a Thursday night, and I was driving him over to the kickball fields.
he was on my team.
He was on her team, and he was like, we were chatting and everything. He's like, man, you should be a part of our kickball team. And me, I was like, oh my gosh, I need some friends. So awesome.
Brandon didn't talk to anyone, and it shows. So yeah, he made friends.
Yeah.
He makes friends.
Yeah, exactly. So then afterwards, the season got canceled because of COVID. Then afterwards, they pushed it out to fall of 2020. First couple of rounds didn't get to meet you because...
So I showed up not having ever met him, and I thought he was on the other team. He was there with this other girl.
Yeah.
And nobody on our team was talking to him. So I thought he was on the other team. I was like, why are you on our sideline? Like, this is weird. Go over there. We're clearly here. And then finally someone acknowledged him like 5 minutes in. And then I felt terrible. And I was offering them White Claws because I was in the outfield with my... I was more there for the drinking social part of it. And it's very competitive. So,
yeah. But after that, that's how we met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
cool.
fun. I love that. Brandon, at that point, were you, because I know you have a coaching background, were you already in Parks and Recreation, or were you coaching at that point?
Nope, I was already in Parks and Recreation.
That's what brought him out to Arizona.
Yeah, so I was working, I was in 2 agencies before that in Florida. I started in the Parks and Rec industry 2014. And then afterwards moved over here, was in Maricopa, Arizona. And then afterwards, I've been in 4 agencies since then, just kind of bouncing all around the greater Phoenix area. But she's been with me through all of it, so it's been fun.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And then how long have you guys been so y'all came together, you've never known anything different, Lex, than him being in Parks
I have not.
Rec.
No.
Right.
Whenever I met him, he was already in Parks and Rec, and I mean, Brandon doesn't do anything halfway. So it was from the get-go, he was very passionate about it. And so I feel like I knew what I was getting kind of, because I mean, he's all in on anything. So, you know, I love any sporting event. I will go watch literally any game. And so we've gone to a lot of games together. And one of the first ones we went to, he's like, so can we get there like 15 minutes early? Because I want to do a lap around the facility and see if I can get some ideas and blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, okay, yeah, no problem. But like, then I knew, right? From then on, it's always the phone is out. He's taking photos of signage or like the most random things. But now I look for them because it's been a lot of events and
time too,
Yeah.
right? Like she's also like my biggest supporter as well. So like now, every time I start a new agency or I get into something, like she's the first person to start following them, and then she'll like go through and look at their social media. This is what they do good. This is what they do good. If we're slacking on things, she's like, hey, you haven't made a post about this. Or if you made this post, it wasn't good enough because it didn't say like X, Y, and Z and spell things out. But I don't know. She's just, we riff off of each other. This is our relationship.
Yeah.
So yeah, we support each other in every manner.
our first 4th of July together. And I was like, sucks, you have to work, like blah, blah, blah. And he looked at me and he's like, I will never not have to work on a 4th of July. And I was like,
Yeah.
Okay. So like the expectation was there from the beginning. And I mean, yeah, it's not my favorite thing, but I also know it's not his favorite thing, you know? So it's like,
Right.
why make it harder? You don't want to work a 12-hour day on the 4th of July either, you know, in the Phoenix heat.
That's
Oh,
so
yeah.
true.
Yeah. So
So with that, as we're kind of moving into the next question, Brandon, what do you think is the hardest part about Lex being married to you?
What's the
are
hardest
you going to
part?
say that you're perfect? I was waiting.
I am perfect. I am absolutely perfect.
I mean, and I could say your
Living up
job.
to my perfection.
No, I think this, right? Like, I'm super passionate about everything, want to pour into everyone. And I think the hardest part is like us navigating, like, I guess like the discussions and stuff too. So like, if there's stuff that are going on at work, I bring it in at home and she calls me out on it, right? There's times where she'll be like, Brandon, you're doing things right, but she calls me out equally. And she pushes me and be like, hey, you're not doing this right. You need to be more direct. You need to have a more direct conversation with people and everything. So
And then if it happens twice, I'm like, okay, we talked about this one though, and we had an action plan. We came up with ideas. And if it happens a third time, I'm like, this sounds like a you problem because we talked about it twice in the last 2 weeks. You know, why is this still happening? Have you done the things that we said you were going to do? If the answer is no, then
yeah, Coach Lex over here, she pushes me all the time. But it's awesome, right? Like, I mean, we have a really cool relationship with that, but I would say that's probably the hardest part about it. Outside of that, everything else is easy.
it's the double-edged sword. Like, it's also the reason it's easy to support him in anything because he's excited about it. He cares about it. I mean, he's genuinely passionate about what he does. If he was like kind of half in, half out, I'd probably be more annoyed about like, no, I'm not getting to a facility 15 minutes
Right.
early to, you know, like,
Yeah.
what the heck? But he's pumped about it. He's excited. So it's easy to pour into it on that aspect. On the other, I would say that the hardest is Brandon wants to volunteer for everything. He is at part of every committee. And like sometimes it's like, okay, was this the best use of your time though? Because you still have your number one goal. And like, I like to use Brandon's words against him because I joke that I'm going to make a coffee book of Brandonisms. And one of the things he always says is, you're saying yes to this, you're saying no to something else. So sometimes I have to remind him of that whenever it's like, okay, that's great that we're on the social committee for director school and APRA and NRPA and every PA, but we're also on the third round of talking about this issue that you're having at work. Are you being able to focus on that,
Right.
you know, because you're spreading yourself so thin?
What she said is better.
She pinpointed it right there.
Yeah, that's accurate. I think for the longest, right? Like I was the youngest person in the field. 30, I just turned 36. So I was saying yes to everything because when I was in Florida, there wasn't really those opportunities, we just stayed in our own little agency, in our own little bubble. And I remember going to Florida Recreation Parks Association, their conference, and just not knowing anyone. So when I came out here, because I didn't know anyone, I was like, yes to everything. And it helped out. But I think
in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but I think we're at the point in our lives now, that if I'm saying yes to this, I'm saying no to something else, right? So we have a 3-month-old James, and he's in both of our world. And it's really important to me to be intentional and be home and be able to support not only just him, but also her. She is a loan officer. She's very, very good at what she does and everything, but she works from home. So when I come home, I want to make sure that I can take care of James so that she can go and do whatever she needs to do.
Yeah, that was the only time it's really been an issue, right? Like
that was going to be one of my next questions. Is like, you guys just had a little one. How is that timing? And I know probably no sleep right now. But how is that affecting everything else? With the jobs.
It was only so Brandon didn't get the paternity leave he expected, which we just had to pivot. But the only time I got really frustrated was he was home at noon, which he was supposed to be on one of his days where he's taking some leave. And I'm like, okay, awesome. I'm going to be able to go do whatever. And he jumps on a call with some social committee. And I was like, this wasn't the deal. No, right. I've been waiting for you to get home today for this. But for better or worse, we had that conversation and he goes, okay, heard. I will not schedule calls for whenever I'm supposed to be on,
Unless we have.
It was only a one. If it's outside of his control, that's a whole other thing. But did you plan this call? Because.
Yeah, right.
But no, James is a really good baby. So even the sleep thing, it hasn't been too bad. It was every couple hours there, the first 2 months, but he's settling in, starting to get a solid 6-hour stretch. And
there you go.
If I can have a solid 6 hours, I can function.
I need minimum 4 hours of beauty sleep. So we found out really quickly that
uninterrupted.
Yeah, uninterrupted. Uninterrupted.
Those interruptions, whenever it's feeding every 2 or 3 hours, it's rough.
Yeah.
It's a little rough. Yeah. So you guys both, obviously, Brandon, you don't have a regular 9 to 5 schedule in Parks and Rec, and Lex, it doesn't sound like you do either. So how do you guys work through normalizing schedules and normalizing your day to day? Like, do you each take turns? Like one of you goes in later, or, like he was home at noon one day. Like, how do you guys do this to make it work?
Mine's a little bit more flexible. Honestly, I'm technically self-employed. I'm a contract employee. So, we more so gear it around him, I would say, but by the same token, part of my job is working open houses or meeting with clients. And so I just have to be intentional. I have a Calendly so that time will get scheduled. He has my calendar. I have his calendar. And that way I know, okay, he's going to be home. This was one of his half days. I can schedule a client meeting at this time. Or, I'm also really lucky. I'm born and raised. My family is all here. And so if I have to take James over to my parents, it's a 10-minute drive, 15-minute drive. And then Brandon
always helpful.
Yeah.
It's super helpful for that aspect. I grew up overseas. Stepdad was in the Navy. My mom was a Department of Defense teacher. So lived 7 years between South Korea, Italy, and Japan. So didn't really grow up with the family. And then there was this opportunity in Florida that was something that it probably would have been my dream job, going back to Orlando and everything. But then we had the conversation. I was like, nope, I really want to be around here, mainly because of family and the help, but also because she's established in her work as well.
Yeah. So I think just communicating with it, but we're very fortunate that we do have the support system that we have here. I don't know if it would function as smoothly as it does otherwise, but Brandon's also even though he's as passionate as he is about work, he is super supportive of me. And so he's the first one whenever okay, maybe I don't feel like working an open house because I haven't seen you really this week
Right,
and
yeah.
whatever, like, and he's like, well, it's going to be 3 hours. Go. You're not going to regret going. And all the time you've never regretted going and working an open house, And then he gets some one-on-one time with James, which I think is nice for you because otherwise I'm kind of always here.
Yeah. Yeah, need a chance to get out. And I love this. This kind of rolls into the next question of, you knew what you were getting into whenever you guys got married. Y'all already kind of had this established norms and expectations. But has your career come with any like personal sacrifice? Have you had to reconcile that or kind of had to move things around or anything as just far as like you can't be there for different things and so you've had to adjust? Like, do you feel like that or do you feel like it's been pretty straightforward?
I mean, his current place of work, there's really not that many crazy events, right? Like whenever he was at a previous place, they had events falling from the sky, and that one was a little bit more excessive. But with that too, like Brandon was fine with me going and volunteering then. Like if the most important thing is spending time with him, then I can go volunteer at these events, not so much now with James, but we still drove down and we were at his event for Halloween. That's my plan is for us still to be at these events. And then whenever he is old enough and he can start chipping in and volunteering, I mean, like one of the things I always have to remind myself, because 4th of July, like, I would love to spend the 4th of July with him, right? So I've been at your facility for whatever event it is on every 4th of July. And sometimes like what I have to remind myself is, okay, some kid is going to see fireworks for the first day today because of what my husband does. Like, it's pretty cool. Like he's making somebody's first memory of this. How cool is that?
Mm-hmm.
And so,
I'll give it like a couple other examples too, right? So I worked at Peoria Sports Complex, spring training facility for the Padres and Mariners. And so that facility is unique because we have two teams there, both Padres and Mariners. So where most people, they do a home and away, we do homes every single day. So we're like 7 or 8 days in a row before we even have a break. And so Lex would come and she would come to the spring training game. She would go sit, she'd bring her friends, and I'd go stop in between innings and go say hi to her, and then afterwards go pick her up and then take her back home. Yeah. Right. We went to the year we got engaged. I was working for ESPN, the Bahama Bowl down in Nassau, Bahamas. She ended up coming. She stayed at the Atlantis Resort. She worked from there and everything. Then after the game happened, she ended up coming over and watching. But then afterwards, we'll get to the laughter in a little bit. But after the game finished, she was like, man, I haven't hung out with my husband. Like, what do I need to do? So she just starts like picking things up, like getting the thing.
What does it matter? Well, he was proposing in the game, which I didn't know.
Yeah. She had no clue. No
idea.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the photos of us from our engagement, I mean, I have like sweat matted on my head. I'm just a wreck, but
you walked away in front of 2 million people.
It's fun. Tall tales with Brandon, but yeah.
I mean, that kind of leads perfectly into like the next question. Like, what's been like the best part or perk, being married to a Parks and Rec professional?
Yeah. All that, I mean, I love going to the events. I really, really do. And we don't just go to his events because, again, Brandon is an eternal learner, which is fun. So we go to cities near us. Like, everything is, okay, what are they doing that we could implement or whatever? And he totally entertains me because I come up with ideas that are probably not feasible at all. But he's like, yeah, hey, that could be good, but all the different places that we've gotten to go to, or I was able to go to conference this year with him for APRA, the socials, like this, 2 Saturdays ago, they put on a private ice skating event, and you were allowed to have guests. So one of my old family friends that I haven't seen since well, no, they've met James, but it had been a little bit. And they came out with their girls and they were like, this is the coolest thing. We had gone to, whatever hotel and it was bumping elbows and the girls getting trampled over, but they had the private area and all that. And,
I mean, she went with me. We had our honeymoon. So we had a 14-day honeymoon that went through Greece, Amsterdam, oh my gosh, Germany, Oktoberfest. And then afterwards finished in London, October 6th when the Vikings played, which she's a big Vikings fan. So after that finished, we got on a plane and we went to NRPA conference in Atlanta. So she got to go to that as well. So, I mean, yeah, I think that we've had pretty cool experiences.
Yeah. Just going to the different events. I love seeing all the different events and like cool because he'll talk. I joke with him though, like it's always been, Christmas for like 4 months before Christmas actually rolls around because we talk about it starting right after 4th of July, right? And so like I'll be in the grocery store and see fireworks. I'm like, what the heck are fireworks for? Because we've been talking about it so long, I forget it's almost New Year's or whatever. But no, just I think going to all the different events and seeing what he does. I mean, it's cool. It's cool whenever somebody loves what they do as much as he does, So like I get to see it come to fruition. We've been talking about it for a while by the time it finally gets there. And then going and I walk the event and try to give him like, hey, this was cool. Maybe this would be something to think about. But
Again, biggest supporter, right? Like I'm even thinking about when we do interviews at my job, like she brings snack packs for all the people that are on the interview committee. So for it, that's just become a thing. I took the CPRE Certified Parks and Rec Executive exam 3 times. On the second time, she's like, "Hey, I'm going to buy a book." And I think we were going to Mexico, and like it
was opening day for flag football or something out there.
Yeah.
And so he wanted to drive. And from our house, that's about
an hour.
Yeah. So we had 2 hours to study both, all together. But we studied for it. He passed.
Yeah, he did pass. And I continued to get something. It was not taking the test again.
I think that's hysterical. Okay, so I love that that you both are so supportive of each other. Brandon, if you could choose a position for Lex in the Parks and Rec field, not necessarily working for you, but if she were to have a position in Parks and Rec, what would you choose for her?
Facility manager. Yeah, like a facility manager. She runs things very, very well. Event coordinator would be a good one too. So when I first met Lex, like Lex likes to host events, right? She's big on community, big on bringing people in, but like her timing wasn't the greatest, And so in the beginning, she would just always be like super anxious and everything beforehand, like as leading up to it. Now we've gotten to a place where like it's calm, we're relaxed, we figure it all out. And maybe other than that would be like something analytical. Like you dive into like all the weeds of stuff, like she's big on guidelines with work and like she can recite like this guideline, what it is. And then she'll like go back and she'll be like, oh, I actually did know that. Like it's really cool. So any one of those 3 things, I think that would be her positions. I mean, you have your CPRE, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
You're all set. So as you have obviously provided so much support, and you're definitely there, and y'all are talking about different things. There are times whenever things don't go so well. Have you guys had a difficult situation that has not gone well? Because one of the things that we've really talked about with our different couples is that while we do want to present that there can be good and bad sides of this, like life's not all just roses. Like sometimes there's mud on those roses too. So have you had a difficult situation that you were able to resolve? And how did you resolve it? Like what were y'all's steps, without sharing too many details if you don't want to get into anything, but have you had something that was difficult that you had to kind of work through?
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I'd be so like there's a time I ended up getting let go from position in Maricopa before. And so at that time we were just dating and it was just kind of happened out of nowhere. And then Lex is again biggest supporter. She was like, hey, she's the one sending me job applications. She's the one. I mean, it was every single day. You know, like she was on Indeed looking at stuff and sending it to me. And then there was a position that was in Colorado. They had an in-person interview, and like I didn't have any money at the time. And she's like, "Here you go." She like sent me, and this is the person that I was just dating at the time. You know, like I mean, I think she's been, yeah. I think that would be
that he had a position here where he really just didn't mesh well with the person over him, and it, again, you've seen, very excited, very happy. You know, this is my husband through and through. I will not forget. We had all these conversations. Oh, well, have you tried this? Have you tried that? And he was doing all those things, right? So at that point, he's doing everything he can. And I was laying in bed, and he's getting ready for work, and he just was sitting at the foot of the bed, and he's like, "I don't want to go to work today." And I've been with him for 5 years, and that is the one time I can remember just seeing him not love what he was doing. And that was hard for me, because watching him, you know, I mean, everyone's work is at least 40 hours of your life each week if you're full time, right? But he takes it to another level. So it's intrinsic, like it matters. He cares. And like watching him not love what he was doing, I was like, okay, well, I think we need to start looking somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, at that point, you know, and if that meant us, I'm born and raised here, but we've had conversations about going elsewhere if that's what was best for him. I can work anywhere. So, you know, I mean, we're fortunate in that way too, but that one I think was the most difficult, just because, you know, it's hard to see your partner struggle in that way. Like they didn't mesh well. It just wasn't a good fit. And, but then it got him to where he is now, and I love the facility that he's at. I love the entire staff is great, and he's got really good relationships with his director and assistant director, and really everyone. So it all always shakes out like it's supposed to, which is like what you don't want to hear when you're going through it at all. And I'm big on that, and it would drive him crazy, because I'd be like, but it's like, even with the Maricopa one, I was like, okay, well, I don't know why this is happening, but I guarantee you a year or 2 years from now, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, that's why that had to happen, you know? And his trajectory has been interesting, but like, he's experiencing all sorts of stuff now that he never would have, because he got let go of Maricopa. I mean, the spring training facility, he ended up getting a bunch of marketing experience, and it's cool. I mean, we watch a lot of sports in general, but there was like Cam Newton had made a comment about Tua, I can't say his last name, Tagovailoa, and he was, you know, then Tua on the back end was like, well, come and talk to me whenever you've done this position. And Stephen A. Smith was like, does he not know who you are? You have done this position. Yeah. And so there's a lot of times when we're talking, and, you know, Brandon's the first one to be like, okay, man, what could I be doing better or whatever, sometimes with his staff. And I'm like, you've done that position. You've done all these positions minus aquatics. That's really the only, but you still have aquatics experience. But I don't even know if I answered your question or if I just started babbling.
I think it's great. I think that and I think that you're showing, I think the most important part of any of these relationships is basically it all comes back down to communication, being supportive of each other, making sure that things are working out, and communicating. I think that's something that we've talked about quite a lot, and that sometimes in that trajectory of your communication, you know, you something may be working for a little bit, and then you have a baby, and then you have to stop and you have to talk through everything again. And then you have maybe a second baby, or they're older now, or they've hit elementary school, or Brandon gets a different job, or you have a different job. Like there's never a time whenever that communication stops. You know, you're always having to communicate and kind of figure out, okay, where are we? Where are we going? Are we still on the path?
On the same page? Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
and I think that's kind of it, is like, with us, it's just that brutal honesty of what you need. Like I can't tiptoe around with him. I'm not subtlety. We'll go right over there, and then I'm pissed, and then we're fighting, and I could have avoided it if I was just like, if you get on a conference call at noon that you scheduled and you were supposed to be helping, it's choose your own adventure. We're going to be having a war later that night. You have to hang out with me. You get to get off the conference call. Like,
Yeah, right.
choose your own adventure. And you only have to say it once usually. You know, I mean, that's the beauty of it. I mean, he's very direct. So if I am direct likewise of like, hey, I need this. But sometimes too, it's him picking up on things that I'm not noticing, him being like, you need to go take an hour, go do something for yourself. Because I am home all day with James. And then whenever he's home, I want to be with him. He's my bestie. So I want to hang out with him. But he's like, you still need to go take time to do something for yourself. And he's the one who's better about that, because I would just hang out here, be with my boys, you know?
I love that. I love that that you're making sure that you are showing up for her too, Brandon, which is really fantastic. Yeah. Was there a moment or a situation as you guys were early together where, Lex, you went from he's programming games, he's doing some of this different stuff to just, I don't know, like realizing that maybe this Parks and Rec thing was bigger than just providing games
I
for
didn't
the
even
community?
realize that, like, when there's T-ball and like any of that stuff, I never put together that was Parks and Recreation, which sounds idiotic. Or, you know, the fireworks being put on by, there's so much with his job that I had no idea was related to Parks and Rec. And I think like that's been really cool, is like all of the different things. Like I said, like I loved, he was driving to, they do electric light parade in Casa Grande. And he was driving in and he took a video of all the chairs that were lined up that morning at like 8 a.m. on his drive-in. All these people that were so excited and already setting up their chairs. And I was like, that's so cool. Like, kids are getting ready for this. And like, it's what they've looked forward to all week because of something that you put on. And they're typically free events. Like, if anything, the cost is super minimal. Which he and I will always, we disagree on why I think he loves Parks and Rec, but that is why I think that he loves it, is he's from all over, right? And so I think he looks for that inclusivity that you can get. And like, that's what so much of it is, you know, you can go work out for what, a couple bucks, you know, what, like, where else can you go make sure that you're doing chair yoga with your grandma or whatever it is, you know, like, the different senior centers, that all the things that they do with the senior prom or whatever. And like, it's through all walks of life, which is really cool. Like, from beginning to end, there's something for everyone, you know? Yeah, T-ball. I don't know why I never realized that you guys also over my head, but that, or like, I just remember my mind being blown. Like, or I will ask him sometimes, I'll be like, wait, so is this a city thing? Like, is this Parks and Rec too? You know, like with different parades or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You guys do a lot. And so it's really cool. So I think like, yes, it's a lot. And yeah, you know that. I mean, I don't have to tell you, you've been married longer than we have, I'm sure, because we're only a year-ish in.
Yeah.
But
It's exciting.
It's cool. Yeah. It's cool to see everything that you do for the community, or that they do for the community.
And Brandon, to circle back around to that, because she said that that's not the answer that you would give, what would be your answer for why you love Parks and Rec?
The long hours, the pay. I mean, honestly, I think no. No, I mean, the reason why I like Parks and Rec is because like she said, I grew up overseas, and I think it would be community, right? So growing up overseas, I was in the MWR morale, welfare, recreation track. And like, I remember being at all these sports fields and stuff. And even still, like, there was, I guess there's a couple of memories, but we lived off base there. So we're living amongst the natives there. So whether it was Japan, Italy, or South Korea, the way we used to communicate wasn't through words. It was by doing and playing and being outside and stuff. Like, I used to have two neighbors when we were in Italy. We lived like on this vineyard, and then they had like a small sided soccer field. I used to go out with like the boys and everything like that, and just go play soccer with them. Couldn't communicate, but I would just go play. And I think that's the one thing that's like universal.
It's a great unifier.
Yeah. Yeah.
That didn't used to be. What did you used to say it was? Coaching? It was something to coaching somehow. But you do like growing people, but I think that that's more so.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, going back from my coaching background, like I've always wanted to pour into others in some aspect. My mom's was a teacher for 20, I think like 30 plus years. Then afterwards, I saw the coach that in Bakersfield, he poured into me. So I wanted to do that as well. And now that, like, I remember being in one of my positions and I felt like I didn't like the way that the department was going. I was like, I just want to be in charge so that I can take care of the people underneath me. Like that's it. I just want to provide a safety net for them. And that's honestly the coolest thing is seeing the people that I've been able to interact with and grow. And then afterwards, like they reach back out to me. Like there's a guy who he worked with me at the spring training facility. He ended up he was a student at ASU. Yeah, an intern. And like during that time period, so it was like my first year. I started in December. Spring training starts in March. It was a lockout year too, and there was a lot of Preston, you're good. Like just go do this. Like don't like fail and fail fast. Like just try all these things. But he goes back and then afterwards he worked for the Cardinals and now he got a job with the University of Arizona. And he ended up reaching out to me maybe about a month ago. And he's like, hey, Brandon, I got this job, but I just want to say thank you so much for like what you did for me. Like it was super impactful, right? And he was an intern, right? Like, I mean, he's had actual full-time bosses and yet he's saying that to me. So that's the most important thing. Like
treats it like it's just as important as his full-time staff because it is. If you don't have good part-time staff, I mean, you're burning through those positions and they do a lot of that important FaceTime with the community for you. And he gets very excited to see people go to the next step. Like it's always something. He'll come home and, oh, Gabby's here, or, Annalise is here. And he gets excited about it, which is cool. We go on tangents a lot.
We do.
That wasn't the question at all either.
It is okay. Community and impact. It is what the service is about, right? Is being able to really make an impact. And I love it. I think that all of our spouses have drunk this Kool-Aid. Josh can say Katie's the same. They all drink the same Kool-Aid. So I think it's absolutely fantastic. We have enjoyed visiting with you guys so much. I have really enjoyed, we'd had Brandon on with RecLess and the guys had interviewed him. And after the RecLess episode came out, Lex, we were so impressed with the way that you promoted him on all the social medias and LinkedIn and the way that Brandon talked about you whenever you were on the show. It was one of the reasons that we wanted to talk to you guys. We were just really impressed with y'all's relationship and the way that you guys interact. So as we're kind of wrapping up and we're going kind of full circle, if you were to go back to the beginning of this thing and you were to give advice for somebody else that is about to come in with a spouse or a loved one into the field, what's some great advice that you would give them?
Mine would be that they are not exaggerating when they say how much they are going to have to work, right? Like whenever he first said it, I was like, okay, like you're not doing open heart surgery here. Like it's probably going to be fine. And then no, it's all encompassing. But if you understand that and like understand just the impact of it, like go to the events, see the look on the kids' faces. Like you can't be pissed at that point, get involved because it's a very friendly environment, don't be afraid to, like take lunch down to the team or whatever, I think that's probably what I would say is be as involved as you can, as the spouse, because it'll just make the whole thing more enjoyable. Because it's a lot of time. Every job is 40 hours a week, but this one seems to follow further than that. And I think otherwise it would be more frustrating, probably.
Well, I think it's just a unique positions, right? And a unique field. With loan officers, like she only communicates with the people that are actually on her team.
Right.
Here, like I'll say Tina Royer, who's in Mesa, or like Stacy, who's in Phoenix, and then she'll be like, I know that name. Why do I know that name? And then we'll talk and she's like, oh yeah, I know this person. And like, for example, there was a picture that we pulled up And she's like, okay, this one is this one is this person. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, it's wild, right? Like, I mean, before, like, to talk. So when we were at our PA conference in Atlanta, I went up to Shane and I was like, hey, like, you're Shane Mize, whatever.
He found every day he would come home and tell me about that. Oh, and then I learned this, and this person was talking, and he was so excited.
But like she knew immediately, like with that, right? Like with me, I've been a Chris Noon's groupie for like a very long time and everything. Like she knows of Chris Noon's because of that. Like I think it's just really involving them. Like I think that's the most important thing.
You will enjoy it more if you get more involved.
Yeah, because it's a family. Like it's a true family. Like there's a person, like I see her like periodically, like at conference, and I saw her at APRA conference / summer, and then afterwards the next day she comes in and she gives me a gift, for James. Like I mean, we're a big family, so just involved with them.
Just in general, right? Like everyone is so welcoming, and I think if you buy in, drink the Kool-Aid too. Share the Kool-Aid with your partner. Like, don't fight it. It's gonna happen, or you're gonna be angry. No, that's not fun for anyone.
This is so true. This is so
exactly.
true. So, Lex, are you coming to Philadelphia for NRPA this next fall?
We will come. Me and James are going to come on the Thursday, the final day. Yeah.
I mean, or we can leave James and then she could come hang out with you guys. So
exactly.
Yes.
We will be there.
We will.
So from what I can gather, that's how Hannah and Josh met originally, was that they went to the WAGs. Yeah.
Wives and girlfriends.
Yeah.
I joke that I'm in the WAG section with a lot of things, but yeah.
Except that we call ourselves the Real Housewives of NRPA.
Oh, I like that. I can be a real housewife. That's fun.
You can come be a real housewife.
We do a lot of fun things.
We do. We're always off on adventures. We find all kinds of things that we've gone to go do. Museums, eating out, shopping, bar hopping. We've done it.
Bar hop, yeah. The shopping and me aren't friends. I'm a terrible shopper, but the rest you got me with. But yeah, I'll make my way up there for at least one of the days. So
nice.
Oh, fantastic. Well, do you guys Josh, do you have any more questions?
I think I'm good.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything else to share?
No, this is awesome. I think that this is going to be a really cool concept for people, because I forget exactly how many professionals there are, but we have, like she said, this isn't a 40-hour a week job, and it's not even like a 9 to 5, because there's sometimes that you are doing stuff late at night. We have facilities that open up at 5 o'clock in the morning and they close at 10 o'clock at night, or even if I have park rangers weekends and stuff. And I mean, she hasn't had to experience this, but we're also first responders as well, right? In Florida, anytime that there was a hurricane, I was one of the people that was going there. But I think the more you have these discussions, it makes it easier for everyone, but it's something that's needed. I think this is definitely a needed conversation to happen.
Yep.
Thank you. We agree. We have had this conversation with each other multiple times before we took it to this format where we're talking about it and trying to normalize it, because it can be really hard. And it is a very lonely feeling if you don't realize that other couples are also going through it, and that the way that Shane and I have reconciled it, the way that Josh and Katy have reconciled it, the way that several of our other couples that you'll hear at different times on the show, the way you guys have reconciled it. Everybody has done it slightly differently, but the main thing that ties it all together is that being supportive of each other, communicating with each other. And we're just trying to let people see that there are more ways to be successful with this, that it is possible. So thank you guys for sharing your story with us today.
Definitely, thank you. It was awesome. Nice talking with you guys.
Nice chatting with you guys. I feel like we
absolutely. That's exactly what was supposed to happen. So it was really great.
We really didn't shut up there for a whole hour.
That is totally fine. Well, with that, we will say goodbye, and thank you everyone for listening to this episode of this Parks and Rec Life. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, guys.